is a part of our church where we do the outreach of our benevolent arm in the church. And I'll be explaining that. But tonight, more than just wanting to talk to you about, I want to go a little bit beyond just talking about us going and do certain projects or doing good works, but really talking about how mercy really captures the heart of Jesus and what we should be really doing as disciples. Mercy worldwide is just the part where we work that out, if that makes sense. Where that just gives us the ability to live out the heart of Jesus. Because sometimes we can often separate things, like there's preaching, discipling, and evangelism. That's on this side of ministry. And mercy is just something different, where helping the poor and helping the needy, it's a different part. But Jesus never separated the two. In his ministry, he didn't see that helping the poor or reaching out to people was like something added on. It was part of the ministry for Jesus. And we can forget that many, many times. See, he put those exactly together. So tonight, I want us to see that mercy is not just something we do on the side, it is who we are as disciples. And really changing our mind about that. And to be honest, as a worldwide movement, we are stepping into a new kind of form of mercy. So previously, we used to have a mercy day, meaning essentially sometime in the month of in June, we would do one day that every single church around our movement does something big and special. And though that was important, that was awesome, what we're shifting now to as a movement is trying to get this instilled in our heart, that we're doing this more regularly and seeing this as part of our discipleship. And so you might hear about our church in Auckland once a month, every Friday night. Different Bible discussions will go out and just feed the homeless. It's part of their ministry. And by the end of tonight as well, I'm just going to be talking about how we are too going to implement this here in Melbourne as well. So my title of my lesson tonight is The Heart of Mercy. So first of all, I'm just going to be explaining again, what is Mercy Worldwide and what exactly have we done in the past and what are we going to do in the future. Then next, we're going to talk about why do we do it. And then thirdly, again, just seeing this is not just a side of the ministry, but it is the ministry of Jesus. So point number one, again, what is Mercy Worldwide and what do we do? So without looking at the lesson, who here can tell me what does mercy stand for? What's the acronym of mercy?
Maximizing.
Maximizing something. Effort. We're maximizing effort. Relief. Relief. Okay, what's the next word? C? You. Now, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say deceitful, but there's some extra little words in there. Maximizing effort for relief, care, and youth. So those words don't matter. But it's essentially how we as a church organize our efforts to serve the community, especially those who are suffering, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or physically. In practical terms, what does this look like in the past? That could be essentially just visiting the homeless and providing meals or hygiene kits for them. Volunteering at a hospital or aged care facilities. Cleaning parks, schools, or streets where they need that extra care. Hosting health fairs or disaster relief efforts. So in the past, there would have been things that we did when there was a huge exodus from Ukraine. Mercy was actually part of that and helping some people kind of relocate in Poland, I believe. There's once a year we have in America a partnership with the Red Cross where we get as many volunteers as possible to go out and just donate blood. So there's some big things we do throughout the year, kind of these kind of bigger hosted efforts. Mentoring youth in at-risk communities. And then we have other like kind of keystone projects around our movement as well. Who here can describe what we do in Samoa? In our Mercy Project. Who here knows what we actually do? Christine, and then Precious, give a crack at it.
As far as I know, there's a community centre.
Yeah.
And people who've dropped out of school and stuff are getting an education, which is getting them into the workforce. And there's also a little farm providing food for people.
Beautiful.
And kids can come hang out.
Exactly. Yeah, about the same thing. So that's awesome. That's perfect. So for those that don't know, we have a big project that we've adopted in Samoa. And that's just we get people from the age of 16 to about 24 that had to drop out of school. So if you don't know, between that age, there's like an 80% unemployment rate in Samoa. Now that's kind of a little bit different in the statistics. Essentially, some people are just at home with their plantations and things like that. So they're not exactly doing nothing, but there's a huge gap in the workforce there. And mostly when it comes to the men in Samoa, they're the ones that are more frequently drop out of school between the ages of like 8 to like 14 because they need to work at home and oversee the plantation. So essentially we're just teaching them basic skills like math, English, and how to write a resume and how to do interviews and stuff. By the end of this 12-week program, the goal is to help them get employed and help them start that journey in their life. So for those that don't know, that's what we've been doing in Samoa. And I think they just started their new orientation about, 2 weeks ago. But it's really, really awesome. You get to see these, young men and young women now. They're like scattered throughout the island that we go, like, they talk about it. I'm part of Mercy School. And so Mercy is actually getting really, really big on the island in that way. So it's really, really cool. So essentially that's what Mercy does. It's our benevolent arm in which we organize our efforts to do the outreach and to help people. But more than just serving in projects, Mercy is about building relationships and restoring dignity to those who have feel forgotten. So we can reflect on Matthew chapter 25, 35 through 40, bounce around a little bit in those scriptures. But essentially it says here, Jesus talking about himself, he says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. Whatever you did for one of these, the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." What's really cool is that Jesus makes it extremely personal when we help and serve the needy. He doesn't say, "Thanks for helping my friends. Thanks for even helping my brother or sister or my daughter," right? He doesn't even say that. He says, "You helped me." That was personal. It's like any time that Kyrie or Eli needs help and you help them, you helped me. You know what I mean? It's like, you touched me. Thank you for carrying my crying baby. Like, it's that. Like, Jesus, like, when you do these things, you are serving Jesus himself. So every person we serve, we are serving Jesus himself. And hopefully that changes our mind of how important mercy is. Sometimes we go out and we go, "Hey, I shared my faith for Jesus, regardless if I got a number or not. I did that for God," right? I love somebody, even though they don't love me back. I did that because God loves me. In the same way, sometimes we can put aside helping the homeless as just something good, but it's part of serving God. It's not just another thing we add on the side. It's 100% part of our servitude to God. And it's really cool, the connections and people that you can meet. I remember one time just back in the States, in America, me and our Bible talk, we're just like, "Hey, we're just going to randomly go out and do like a pancake breakfast for the homeless." And so we went out, we talked to like the local Kohl's, essentially on that side of the world. And we just said, "Hey, this is what we're doing." We didn't even have a letter or anything. And then that grocery store said, "Sure, just take whatever you need for free." And that was really, really cool. And then when we went out there, to be honest, nobody really wanted pancakes, but we made like 50 pancakes. And there was this one really nice homeless guy. He came up and he was like trying to get all his friends to come eat pancakes because he saw that we're trying to do this effort. But we found out that he used to be, what's the official word? Billiards? Is that right? Like pool tables and everything? He used to be the world champion billiards guy. And he started talking to us about his life. You even saw like YouTube videos on him and everything. And essentially he just got into, substance abuse. And he was on the street. But it was cool because we made that connection and we would keep coming back to the park and finding this guy and talking to him. And so that's the heart of mercy. And the same way when you meet somebody sharing your faith, you're going, "I want to build a friendship. I want to show them sincerity of our faith and love." Mercy is just another part of that. It's just to a different demographic as well that gives us the ability to do the same type of ministry. So we see what mercy is. So for us, again, we're going to be implementing that in a monthly basis in each Bible talk. We'll be talking about that again later on. Point number 2, why do we do it? We talked a little bit about it, but we do it not just because it's a nice thing to do. We don't do it just because it makes the church look good or it makes us feel good. We do this because it is really at the heart of the gospel. So Titus chapter 3, 4 through 5, it says, "But when the kindness and love of God, our Savior, appeared, he saved us, not because of righteous things we have done, but because of his mercy." At one point in time, we were spiritually poor, broken, and lost, and God had mercy on us. He helped us when we were the most needy in our lives. The mercy we show is a reflection of the mercy that we received. Other scriptures that talk about this heart. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. "He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? to act justly, and to love mercy, and to show humility with your God. Proverbs 19, verse 17. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward those who for what they have done. This helps us see that this is really at the heart of God. So therefore, it shouldn't be something that we think is optional or just something good for us to do. Mercy isn't a bonus round of spiritual, mature people, right? It's not just like this extra thing we do. It's the core in what God requires of us. Think of Jesus' ministry. He touched the untouchables, the lepers, right? He saw the invisible, the woman at the well. He loved the forgotten, the tax collectors, beggars, sinners, all these different people. It was the heart of his ministry. We love mercy because we've been there, we've been loved first, right? We love to do that because God loved us first as well. We don't serve the poor because they're helpless at times. We serve them because that's who we used to be. And it's another reflection on what we're just grateful for. And so many of us can look back in our lives and go, man, I'm so grateful somebody had mercy on me. I'm so grateful that somebody had love on me. And so God is just trying to keep that into our heart. Now it's our turn to do that for someone else. So when we start thinking of mercy continuing on, it's not just going to be a thing we do on the side. It's part of your discipleship. That helps us because there are even times where we may go as a church and go, hey, we have to organize sharing our faith together, right? And that's essentially good. But we should also talk to ourselves and go, do you live a lifestyle of sharing your faith? Yeah, you can do that 6 to 9 or 6 to 8 o'clock on a Monday, Tuesday night, but you should be doing that because that's your life. In the same way, we are going to organize mercy events, and that's going to be well and good. But I hope that this can be the first step where we implement this in our daily lives. Whenever you see somebody in need, whenever you see somebody just needs help or just needs to talk to somebody, there's a survey done with the homeless. Now, this was back in America, but essentially they went around and talking to the homeless on Skid Row, if you know what that is in LA. But essentially saying, hey, what are your most common needs? Or what's the thing that you require the most? And they thought they were going to walk away with like food, shelter, water, medical supplies. But one of the highest things that they rated was attention. And the article was something, I believe it was like the invisibles. And essentially it's what happens socially. Like let's say you're walking past a homeless and you feel sorry that you don't have any money to give to them. So therefore you will naturally avoid eye contact because you feel sorry to say no if they ask you for something. But because of that, they now become invisible. And so people don't want to interact because they feel rude if they have to say no. And so essentially there was this weird program where people thinking they're being nice by not rejecting them, but they started to feel invisible. And so even for you, if you feel like, oh, I don't have money, I don't have food, just talk to them. Just reach out, just to show that you love them. And that's at times the greatest need. Especially in a place called in Australia where they have so many different programs to help them with food and things like that. Sometimes we just need to show them that we care and that we see them and that we love them. So point number 3, again, kind of hitting that same point. Point number 3 is this is not a side ministry. This is the ministry of Jesus. Mercy is not just a Saturday event. It is not just an initiative that we're trying to do. It should be a way of life. James chapter 1, verse 27. Religion that God, our Father, accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress. If we follow Jesus, we must live the life of compassion. Luke chapter 4, 18 through 19. And kind of paraphrasing and jumping around in this one. It says, the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor and to set the oppressed free. That was part of Jesus' mission focus right here, his mission statement. He is our Lord, so therefore this should be our mission statement as well, as we go around and live out mercy in our daily lives. When you see someone hurting, don't just walk away. Jesus never did that, right? James chapter 2, 14 through 17, but just part of that, it says, faith without deeds is dead, right? If we say that we're disciples, then we have to live it out practically. In the same way, if we talk about, we got to share our faith, we got to pray, we got to read the Bible, or maybe the key points that we think what discipleship is, but we now start to understand that this is part of that core. We have to live that out as well, right? We have to implement that. And it's so much fun. not only fun, but it's so impactful. You might even reflect on your own testimony. Yes, it was the truth in which it was presented to you in the scriptures that really helped you and maybe see the scriptures in a new light. But you can also somewhat equally see, man, I'm grateful that someone loved me. I'm grateful for the friendships. I'm grateful for how someone reached out to me. And it's at times those relationships that at a point in stage might have meant more to you and allowed you to open your heart up to the scriptures. In the same way, this is what the mercy is really all about. Right? To be honest, some of us want to focus on ministry things at times. Bible talk, services, how many studies we have, but we can skip over sometimes the most uncomfortable parts of the ministry. Feeding somebody who maybe smells or addicted to drugs or has mental illnesses or getting involved in someone's messy life. Those are just as important into the ministry of God, right? He went into the thick of things. See, that's exactly what Jesus lived. 1 John chapter 3, 17 through 18. Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. So like I said, what we're going to now start to do, and I kind of want to get a little bit of understanding of what we think is best, but my first idea is I want to implement what New Zealand has started to do. Now, I think they're a little bit different in us in regards that their most needy community in their CBD, it's very close to their church, their ministry. For us, it's a little bit further away. So I would love to do it on like once a month, every Friday night. Once a month on a Friday night for a Bible talk. But I think I think going all the way out where the most needy is might not be suitable for a Friday evening for some of us. So I'm thinking we do it on a Saturday afternoon, where even the church budget will reflect it. We'll give $100 each Saturday that a Bible talk goes out to feed the homeless. And so if Eric's Bible discussion goes out the second week of the Saturdays, and then my Bible discussion goes out on the fourth week of the Saturdays, we can do that together. So I'll send that out and let me know what works best for your guys' schedules. But I want to do something where we can actually implement it. But like I said, I want to organize that more and more in the church that reminds us of the heart of the ministry. Yes, it's awesome we do it together, but hopefully this can help us change as well in our daily ministries in our hearts. So to summarize, what is mercy? What helps us to organize these different efforts of Jesus' ministry? Why do we do it? Because God first loved us, and we're going to continue to show that. How do we live it? It's not just a side of the ministry. It's not just a charity we do. It is our calling. So I'm very excited how we're going to be able to see this more and more and more. There's a lot of different volunteer opportunities out there, but they're a bit challenging to get into because everyone needs like a police check and stuff like that. Now we can, if we start working like today, maybe in a few months from now, everyone gets a police check, and that's awesome. But we're going to start implementing a lot and start to see it as part of Jesus' ministry. And that's the lesson.